Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's no Wind Waker, but it ain't bad. It achieved the impossible back in 1998 by bringing the 2D Zelda experience to a whole new dimension. And guess what? It did a great job at it. We're talking memorable characters, complex interconnected temples, and music so good I plan to conceive my children to bops like this. Yes, it truly is a timeless classic that personally I think holds up great today. Now sure, the game has been updated a bit throughout the years, Master Quests got added via the GameCube release, and the 3DS version brought updated visuals and a slew of quality of life features. But at its core, gamers have been playing the same version of Ocarina of Time for nearly 30 years now. According to notorious Nintendo party girl leaker Nate the Hate though, that's all about to change here shortly. You see, word on the street is that the Mad Lads over in Kyoto have been cooking up a remake of the third best Zelda, and it's scheduled to launch at the end of this year. And I guess that we'll find out if that's true soon enough, since there is a direct rumor for the second week of this month. So the question is, do we need this remake? And why now? Well, we know why now. The Zelda movie is coming out in April of next year, and they want to be prepped with something new for fans to play in the franchise, unlike some people. But do we need it? What could an Ocarina of Time remake actually do to make the game better? That's what we're exploring today. Obviously, there are some quick wins to be had right off the bat. Auto-saving, better inventory management, rather than needing to pause the screen every 2 seconds to swap out items. Maybe the ability to drop some markers on the map like breath and tears. You could have a quest log to help track optional quests. Easy stuff that I think we can expect to see no problem. People might want a way to tune out Navi's sexy little ass. Hey, listen! But man, I'm a purist, and if my ears aren't bleeding with hey listens in the first 10 minutes of this remake, I don't even want to play it. I know we've all heard the phrase, old game is old, and although I think it's a really enriching experience to go back and explore older games as they were, we can't deny the fact that most people don't actually do that. Trying to convince your friend that the game holds up as they look the bizarro owner here dead in the eyes might be a tough task. Recently, I did a video documenting my first experience playing through the original Resident Evil's 2002 GameCube remake. Go check it out if you want to see more, but something that I mentioned in that video is despite being a huge fan of the series, going back was initially intimidating. Sure, the game's visuals hold up really well, but the gameplay itself looked dated and maybe not as approachable as something more modern. Ocarina of Time, on the other hand, has a bit of the opposite effect in my opinion. It actually doesn't feel that dated when playing. It looks like a normal third-person action adventure game, but the graphics are probably enough for younger audiences to brush it off without giving it much of a chance. So I do get the desire for a visual update, although that already exists in the form of Ocarina of Time 3D. What they did with the art style in that game was fantastic, making it look closer to the original artwork. I think it's critical that they take the same approach here, but go even deeper than they could on the 3DS. My hope is that it'll feel as though some of those designs are stepping right off the page and becoming playable in-game. All I'm saying is mommy better be looking extra milky. What I don't want is just to see Tears of the Kingdom link plopped into Ocarina of Time. The art style should scream Ocarina of Time, and the second we see it, I think that we'll know. Look man, if the furries can get their grub little hands or paws or whatever those are all over Star Fox, I think it's only right that we have Ocarina of Time looking sexy as hell. Kill me! A visual overall opens up something else too. They can push the environmental design quite a bit, and there's one specific direction that I'd love to see them lean into. Maybe it was emphasized more than intended thanks to the graphical limitations of the Nintendo 64, but Ocarina of Time has some genuinely creepy moments throughout it. Humans cursed into being spiders, animated corpses that deliver ear-piercing shrieks, haunted temples with spirits watching your every move. Now the game isn't horror, but the elements that are there are done super well. They should lean into this and make something that looks even more off-putting with the higher graphical capabilities of newer hardware. You can also do a lot with the temples themselves. One of my least favorite locations in the original was inside Jabu Jabu's belly.
Get in the fish, children.
I don't necessarily need this expanded out into a full-fledged temple, but right now it's a quick and awkward stop that features everyone's favorite thing, an escort mission. Keep the Princess Ruto a bit, make her a little more capable, and then really tone up the fact that you're crawling around inside this freaky fish dude. In a similar vein, I think that they could do a bit more with the ice cavern too. There's a whole slew of ice-themed ideas here. Melting shit, freezing shit, sliding around like Luigi after he gets the key from the Eskimo ghost shit. Do a little bit more here and make it feel like a worthwhile stop. These are just a couple of examples, but I do think that expanding the level design or making tweaks where it makes sense across the various temples and dungeons could be pretty interesting if done right. And fuck it, I'll say it, keep the water temple exactly the same way as it was, just to mess with people, because you know that that is the one thing everyone is expecting them to change. Don't even update the graphics or anything, just grab the slice where you play the water temple from the original game and drop it in the remake, so everything reverts back for that temple only. If I had to do that shit, so does the new generation, so make it right. Hyrule Field is probably the biggest area I can see getting involved for the remake. Remember the feeling after talking to the owl for the first time you stepped out into Hyrule, and not just once or twice, but like 10 times because you kept hitting yes even though you meant to hit no since you were mashing through his dialogue and couldn't react fast enough to actually select no? Yeah, I remember that. But also remember the feeling of seeing that big sprawling field out there full of endless opportunity and discovery? Do that again, but give it an even larger scale. And I think that,
An open world Ocarina of Time would be very disrespectful to the sanctity of Miyamoto's vision.
No, hold on. I need to be very clear here. I do not want an open world interpretation of Ocarina of Time. We have 2 great open world Zelda experiences already, and they need to keep this one in line with the original Ocarina of Time. What I'm saying is that fill that field with some extra stuff to do. Add tougher enemies, maybe allow for horseback combat once you get Epona, and crack up the contrast between child era and adult era Hyrule Field. For example, when you're a kid, let's say there's blooming wildlife, NPCs are walking around, going about their days in peace, fun little activities scattered around the field. But as an adult, people are too scared to leave their homes, and the fields are infested with enemies and destruction. I don't want to see Hyrule Field padded out with boring repetitive chores, but I do want to see it fuller and more alive, with some unique activities that are actually worth doing and going out to find. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake is all but inevitable at this point, and Lord knows my Nintendo simp ass will be there day one. But man, I really hope they take the opportunity to do something special with this one. And most importantly, I hope that it can get some newer players into the original if this remake sticks the landing. So, what are your expectations for the Ocarina of Time remake? Anything you want changed? What absolutely needs to be kept the same? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious what everyone thinks. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe consider subscribing or leaving a like. Maybe even get a little naughty and poke around the channel to check out some of the other videos I made and see if something strikes your fancy. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.